Hey everybody, welcome back to the second video in my chess series. We're going to carry on where we left off. I've still only played 2 games on the account, still the same rating. Not going to waffle on, let's just jump into it. And find ourselves an opponent. Here we go, so playing Spaniard over there. White pieces. I think, again, spoke about this last game, but I don't actually know any open ends, but let's try something a bit different to what we did last time. Play the queen's pawn, and we'll follow that up with knight to f3. The reason I like this, it covers off the middle. Spoke about that in the last video, that I feel like covering off the middle area is probably something I want to be looking at doing. As a follow-up to this, I think we've kind of got a couple of choices. We can look to move this pawn, or I think look to move this pawn with the idea of getting this bishop out, or look to do something like putting this bishop up here. Reason being, it threatens his queen, it's defended by our knight. It's easy to defend this, but I quite like this play. I think in the lower brackets, which is where I am right now, taking these high advantage plays can actually work out in your benefit. It's forced a move here he probably didn't want to make. It could have been defended something like this, maybe would have been better. We're presented with some similar actual options here. So we've got knight to here, again threatens the queen. We've got something like our other knight up to c3, gives some control in the center, quite like that. And I think that's the play I'm going to make. The reason I like this is because it gives us some options like this bishop to here, which actually pins the queen, so it forces something to happen which probably pins his queen further back. So I am going to make this. Well, once his pawn's out of the way, that's the move we might look at making. So that's what we're going to do. See how our opponent responds. I'm assuming they don't like this trade. This feels better for me than it does for them. We'll see what they go with. I'm kind of hoping for this video to improve on a couple of things last time. I think goal number one, iron out the silly mistakes. Awareness of what a piece can do once it's been moved, and I think looking at, does it threaten anything? If I move my piece, am I removing any protection? It's made a couple of mistakes in the last matches that probably shouldn't repeat. Okay, so our opponent has moved their knight forward. This in some ways makes this not quite so good. In other ways, it actually allows us to add a lot of pressure down this line, because it essentially is pinning this knight to this queen and king. There's a lot of I think a lot of advantage to putting this bishop out. I'm gonna go with it, and it actually gives us some good moves. So like the knight to here then becomes really good. Doesn't give them much choice, because it allows us to look at doing this, look at doing this, look at doing this. There's a lot of choices for us that come off the back of it. We'll see how the opponent responds. Responded with their queen forward, which I do kind of like. For them, this feels quite strong. It gives me a couple of options. So again, we can keep the pressure up on their queen. I like this because if they do move, depending on where they go to, we've already kind of decided this isn't a safe square. Here's no good, here's no good, here is no good. Their kind of only choice is either back to one of these two, possibly over here. This feels not great. Yeah, I think this is a good one for us. With regards to the video, I think I'm going to try and make this one a lot shorter than the last one, and probably do that going forwards. Kind of felt like 40 minutes was a little bit long. I think the video went quite well though. Response has been quite positive so far. So our opponent's moved the pawn forward. I'm not sure I understand the intention with this move, so there is some choices here. We can take this. They then cannot take because of our knight protection. They can't take with this because it's pinned to their king. I feel like this is just an almost free pawn for us at this stage, so we'll see what happens. It keeps the pressure on this this queen as well. So in the same vein we just talked about, it's not got many great moves. Okay, so he's moved the queen back. So we have again a couple of choices here. Quite like this move here. This pawn's currently undefended, and moving the knight here actually then creates pressure on both of these pieces, which means we're going to get one of them. Reason seems like a really good move to go for. Obviously we can't do it immediately because it would leave our king in check. So it's possibly something we want to look to set up over the next couple of turns. The way we could go about doing that, so we can move the knight in, we can move the queen in, or we can move the king and castle it, which is what I think I want to do. We'll see how they respond. I think if neither of these pieces move, this actually works out quite nicely for me. This is definitely our next option. I think looking at this at the moment, I'd say I prefer our position. We are up by a pawn, but I think we're significantly more kind of developed than our opponent is. Both of our bishops are in play and active, both of our knights are active, and put a lot of pressure on, whereas their pieces not quite so much. You know, this knight, for example, is a bit stuck. It can't really do a whole lot at the moment. We'll see what they choose to do, though. So definitely prefer our position. I think something else mentioned last time we need to improve on, and it's actually looking like an immediate, you know, not a problem, but something I need to be aware of again in this game, is that we're already down by a minute against what our opponent's clock is looking at. Okay, they've played their pawn forward. This is threatening this, but I feel like this knight move is just you know, really good for us. I think what they will likely do is probably just move the queen out of the way, and we could end up with some sort of odd bishop for bishop trade, obviously here and then here. I think we'll go for it, see what happens. If nothing else, again, it does force them to make a move they probably don't want to move in this situation. This queen has to go somewhere here. It's not safe in a number of places. Okay, so they've chosen to take our bishop. I think this works out much better for us. So they get a bishop and a knight out of this. We get their queen. Interesting. I think here we've got a couple of choices. So we can stop this. We can do this, which if they take gives us the bishop in, which puts pressure on these two. We can just move this backwards. I think I quite like taking here. We'll see how they respond, but I think if they take this, then obviously it puts our bishop in a great situation. Yes, this is what's happened. This move to here just seems great for us. This forces the king to move, which then makes this free. Definitely feel like our position is the one to be in right now. We'll take their rook. They do still have some pressure down here, but nothing you need to worry about too much right now. see what their next move is, but I think we're now significantly ahead and would have to really try quite hard to throw this one away, but stranger things have happened. Okay, so our opponents moved their knight forward. I think for us here, taking this pawn with our queen seems quite a strong move. Definitely what we're going to look to do here. Put some pressure here. This is undefended. It puts some pressure into, in towards their king. This is now an option for us. This is an option. I quite like this. The reason I quite like this is it's pressure again on two pieces. It forces the bishop to move, and if the bishop does move, it gives us this pawn, which will then force a check. It just gives us a lot of advantages here, I feel. We'll see how the opponent responds. I mentioned this in the last video, that the reason I'm kind of enjoying playing chess at the moment is down to the fact that I've been watching Queen's Gambit on Netflix. I still haven't actually finished it, but I'm getting there. I like taking this bishop here. Got one episode left to watch, but I think absolutely brilliant TV show, and if anyone sat here isn't already a fan of it, hasn't already watched it, definitely recommend it. Okay, so they've chosen this move here. This gives me a couple of choices, so we can look at this. Looks quite strong. This looks like a reasonable move, and this I think this queen move is actually quite strong because it then puts pressure here. It forces this, which could either go backwards, this could come forwards. Definitely feel like this is something we're interested in doing. We'll see how they respond. Obviously the rook forwards looks pretty poor. It allows us to take the bishop, which is what's happened. That is what we'll go ahead and do. This actually then puts pressure down on this knight as well. Okay, so here, the move of this bishop to here pins this rook in place, which I do quite like. We'll go ahead and do that. We'll see how they react. Okay, they've gone and moved the king. Queen to here looks quite strong now. Go ahead and do that. Force them to move back. This allows us to take the knight for free. No reason really not to go ahead and do this. At this point, I think this game is done, dusted. We'll just continue to sweep up some pieces. And then just ensure I don't put them in a situation where they can force a draw. Okay, our opponent has gone ahead and resigned. Good win, gone up 74 rating, and yeah, pretty happy with that one. Let's go ahead and look at the report. So you're back with me, looking at the report just as it generates. We'll have a look at how we played, look at what the accuracy was like. So immediately, I'm really quite happy. 76.6% accuracy versus our opponent's 9.3. I'm fairly happy with this as at the stage I'm at. Played very few numbers of games. I think to be seeing anything up this sort of high amount, I'm pretty chuffed with. We'll continue playing through this. Have a look at the key moments. So here, our second move is our last book move. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't know any of these book openings. I think one big thing I could probably look to improve on is by learning some of them. But for the moment, I'm trying to just take in fundamentals and not get tunnel visioned onto, I must follow a set, a set opening, when it might not always be correct. So I understand here that this is, maybe something I need to work on. But at the same time, for the time being, I'm just going to follow my fundamentals and maybe look to bring a proper, memorizing a couple of openings in later on. Let's have a look at the next key moment. Okay, so here is the first kind of swing in the game that puts us, quite far ahead. This move here, I mentioned it in the game, but it puts them in a really awkward position. It gives me so many choices. The computer thinks it's the best move. It's a good reply to their mistake. It forces this queen backwards. Depending on where the queen goes, we have pressure in other places. That's currently unprotected. Certainly, this pawn here looks like a really vulnerable piece. It allows us into the rook as well. It's not how the game panned out, but this move felt good and has been proven that. Let's have a look at the next key moment. So here, the castle is, and pointing out that this is wrong. I think the reason for this is that I probably should just be making this move because it guarantees that we're going to get this rook. I did miss this in the game. I was actually looking more at this side and then sort of twigged it was defended, but actually this move is, I'm pretty sure is going to be what they deem the best. Yeah, and it is a good couple of points difference, which is fairly significant. The way this plays out is quite good for us. If we follow this through, we do end up getting this rook no matter what, even if we lose the bishop for it. We'll carry on forwards. Definitely something to learn there is look at both sides of what pressure is being applied. So here, I don't think I'm going to look into this in too much detail. This is simply that we could have got a checkmate quicker. I made this move here just because it stopped this rook doing anything. I think at the stage I'm at right now, one of the ways I can look to lose a game is or throw away a lead is just to let a piece go and do stuff when there's no reason to, which just left me in a position where I quite liked this move. We will have a look at what was better. Okay, so this gives us mate in 5 versus mate in 6. I can understand this. It puts pressure here. We could have come in like this. Yeah, I can understand where the analysis is going here. I don't think there's much more to look at. Same kind of mistake here. A faster mate was available. I didn't go for it just on the same rules, really. I just felt if I just clear out the pieces, I'm going to make my life easier. We'll have a quick look at what the best move was. Simply going forwards. I can understand this actually is a missed mate. Yeah, this is something probably you should look to improve on, because in some games this is going to matter. Going backwards here, probably got tunnel visioned on taking 3 pieces when I don't actually need to. This is obviously a fairly standard kind of situation that I need to be picking up on. Same mistake made a second time, don't need to talk about that in any great detail now. And that's everything that we need to really look at. So hopefully you've enjoyed going through that game with me. I'm not going to play a second one in this video. I felt like the last video was too long, but we will come back for some more gameplay pretty soon. If you've enjoyed this, if you can go down below, maybe leave a comment, something you think I need to improve on. If you really like it, if you could hit the subscribe button, obviously helps me out massively. But anyway, I'll see you again in the next video, and